this is going to be more so for your squad leaders and 2ICs than having the entire squad all on top of it. But definitely start brushing up on some of your navigation skills. There is a lot of navigation exercises and navigation tutorials and things like that that you can find online. Navigation is universal across the world. Like, it's not like, oh, the Australians do it this way and the Americans do it that way. When it comes to military style navigation, it's pretty much universal no matter where you go. You don't need to have the most in-depth knowledge of navigation, how it all works. You just need to have a basic idea about how to read a map, how to learn to use grid references, up to 3 numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way it gets you pretty close to where you are. And you need to understand how you can use that to your advantage and how you can document things on a map and stuff like that. So just really basic navigation skills. If you want to start learning MGRS, really good tool to have. Some people might be familiar with using mills and stuff. So again,
we are using mills. We are using mills at EP. So if you're like me, you're very mixed in your navigation. We don't use degrees. I've been corrected on that. We will be using mills. If you do have a compass, make sure you've got a compass that has mills on it. Otherwise, you're going to be working it out in your head. And if you can figure that, I mean, again, look, it's coming down to, I think some people might get a little bit scared, like, oh, I'm going to get lost. Your squad leaders are going to be facilitating this. They're going to be your point man on this. But it's a good idea to learn those skills and have the equipment so that you can learn along with them, because I mean, it helps you grow your skill set.
Navigation isn't as hard as people think it is. If you can read a map and use Google Maps, you pretty much know what you're doing. So the AO is quite big, but when you look at the map, it's pretty straightforward to navigate. And once you start navigating the field of play, you'll recognize pretty early on where you can and can't go and what points of interest make sense, and you'll pick all that out, so it's not going to be too hard.
Alright, for those of you who watched our previous video on the medic rules, you know that I did give you a bit of a promise that we were going to cover off the equipment in our next one, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Now, for sure, there is certainly a lot of coalition stuff sitting on the table, but the list that we're going to be covering off mainly will apply to both factions. So militia, coalition, doesn't matter, you are going to need this stuff. Everything that I'll be talking about today, for the most part, is in the CSSO. You can access that on our website at milsimis.com. Click on the CSSO link and it'll take you to a download where you can read the PDF. The items that we'll be covering off today are the essentials, so they're the ones that are highlighted in red. Everything else, while they will make your life easier in most cases, are not required, so we won't be talking about those too much today. So we're just going to run through the list nice and quick, and we'll keep it a nice short video. So there's some basics here: your top, your shirt, obviously what you're wearing. You're going to need something that's relatively suitable for what you're doing. So if you're on the militia, you're going to want something that's not cam, and if you're on the coalition, you want one of the approved cams. Pants, belt, that's again kind of a given. Make sure that if you have a uniform, so say you're wearing cams, doesn't matter what type they are, maybe you want more than one pair, especially if you get muddy. Definitely recommend that you have more than one pair. They don't have to be the exact same set of cams as your next set, although that would be ideal. It would be a done idea to have more than one. Boots and socks, can't have you running around in sneakers. It is a very large AO, it's 3.5 Ks. For the love of God, if you do buy boots for that, make sure you wear them in before the day. We don't want you going home lame because you couldn't walk after day one because your boots weren't comfortably fitting. Again, same deal with socks. I recommend that you double up your socks, especially if you're wearing hiking boots or military boots. I always double up my socks, stops blisters. It's a great way to go by. Hat, helmet or headwear is one that we have put on there as an essential. Again, you need to be wearing something on your head. During the day, I'd recommend a hat so you don't get burned, or your Kevlar, your helmet, beanie, whatever it happens to be. And that's regardless of what team you're on. Eye protection is a bit of a big one that I think we've spoken about a bit, but we've not really reiterated. Something that I want to put out there today is you really need to have at least 2 pairs of eye protection. So that's whether you have 2 pairs of clear, 1 pair of tinted and 1 clear. You're gonna need a spare set, especially if one gets broken. You can't wear tinted lenses at night, you're not gonna be able to see anything. There's a ton of different options out there. You don't have to spend a fortune on ballistic goggles or stuff like that. You can just pop down to your local service station or run down to Bunnings and you'll find yourself a good set. Bit of a shout out to the guys at Cadet Shop. I bought this set from them. I think it's fantastic. Comes with a couple different sets of lenses on it. Very comfortable, didn't fog up. Pretty much covers day and night, so probably one of my favorite sets. But I've also got just standard safety glasses from Bunnings, which are just as good. I wear glasses, so if you wear prescription glasses and you can't wear contacts, you are going to need something to wear over the top of your glasses. There are a couple of options out there. One of the ones that I've have tried in the past, I'm going to cover this off quickly because if there are people out there that do wear glasses, I know it's a pain in the ass. These are fantastic. These are a military goggle. This is made by ESS, the same company that does supply to the US military, and these do fit over the top of prescription glasses. So they're absolutely fantastic, although you will want some anti-fog on your glasses, because while these don't fog up at all, your glasses will. If you can switch to contacts, I would recommend that you do, and if you can live without glasses and still shoot in a straight line, that's great as well. So that pretty much covers off our eye pro. Again, very important, more than one pair. Don't be that guy who breaks his glasses and has to go home. Photo ID, this can be a driver's license, proof of age card, government issued ID. The idea is that we're looking for something to identify you when you rock up for intake. We're looking for a way so that we can tick your name off the list. You are who you say you are, we can check that off against your ticket. If for some weird reason you don't have photo ID and are just beaming in from the heavens somehow there without a driver's license or anything, birth certificate would do if you can't have one, or maybe like even your official, some form of official bill or something that proves that you are who you are would also do. If you have any questions about that, please hit us up and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Your medic card, we've spoken a little bit about these, but just to cover off on them quickly, is information about you. You will be provided one on the day. You'll be required to fill out a quick form. The idea behind the medic card is that it will give information about if you have any pre-existing conditions, any allergies, next of kin contact, that kind of information. We won't retain that. Once you've given us your details, and as soon as we hit the print button, it'll print out a card, it will erase that information, so it's all 100% safe. Because of this, it means if you lose your medic card, don't lose your medic card. You will have to come back to the top to get another one made. We don't have a record. And again, that's for use by the AMBOs. If, God forbid, something should happen to you, we know who to call, we know your problems. We do not need to know your blood type. You do not need to know that. Nobody cares. They will sort this out at the hospital. It is called typing and crossing. It is, yeah, I'm not even gonna go into that. Notepad, pen and pencil. Probably second to only to your rifle. I can't remember a damn thing, so I write everything down. If you get grids, if you get directions, if you get intel and you can't remember it in your head, one of these. Pencil's a good idea because you can sharpen it, doesn't run out of ink, just use your knife for it. Waterproof is the best way to go, and by waterproof I mean water resistant. These all-weather ones cost about $6 depending on where you buy them from, and are a great little investment. You won't go through more than one at EP, I wouldn't imagine, but that's what. While we're talking about notepads, I will briefly mention a map. Print a map, for the love of God. Know where you are, don't be that guy who doesn't have one. It's not the end of the world if you don't print a 2-scale map. Again, your squad leaders will be in charge of nav. It would be better if you had one that you could use. It will help you learn some skills, and that is available on the forums as well. You can check that out and that'll give you all the details. As we move right down, watch and a whistle. We spoke about a watch in our medic video, so you want something, don't bring a smartwatch, they break. Bring yourself something that's tough. It can even be a cheap one. It doesn't need to be, cost the earth, just that it tells the time and you know what's going on and it can take a couple of hits, or one that you can throw away. Whistle's another one that people have probably asked a few questions about. Again, it's for signaling, it's for emergencies, and the idea is that everyone has one. There's not going to be any shortage. Again, you can pick those up $5, $6 at a local camping store. They're not going to cost a fortune. It doesn't have to be a particular type. GPS or compass, this is more aimed towards our squad leaders, but I honestly think it's a great idea if everyone has a compass. I think everyone should get involved in navigation. It's a big part of the military. If you do get a compass, bear in mind we are working in mils, we're not working in degrees. So if you buy the wrong type of compass that only has degrees on it, you're either going to be figuring it out in your head or looking like a bit of an idiot. There's a ton of different compasses out there on eBay that you can buy, which are relatively accurate. They're not amazing, but it's not the world's biggest AO. But be aware that there are a few out there that they don't come with degrees, and that's not really gonna help you. GPS is, again, really useful if you want to get your grid super fast. It's going to give you something accurate, say the Fortress 401 or the 301 or the 601 if you really want to spend big dollars. Will definitely give you that information. And if you are going to bring one of those along, make sure you know how to use it. Don't be the guy who's like not paying attention to his zone because he's too busy dicking around with his GPS. We move straight back down onto your mate bandage. We talked about these before, but I wanted to put a bit of clarity on this because people did ask the question. If you carry weighted plates, yes, you will be issued 2 mate bandages. So each one of those plates needs to be at least 1 kilo, and we will weigh them. And all the details about that is on the forum. So if you have any detailed questions about that, go ahead and ask it. There is a thread running about that. To clear up another question we had, I think I covered it off, but maybe it didn't quite hit the mark. You don't have to provide these. We will provide them for you. They don't cost you anything. They are part of your ticket price. So you don't have to worry about providing your own mate bandages. If you are, for whatever reason, make sure they're red or orange, not black or any strange color, because those other colors mean other things. As we go down the list, 2 liters of water. Don't be the dude who rocks up to EP and has no water. You're going to need a way to carry it, and there's not always going to be water a step away from you. You're going to want to pick yourself up possibly a hydration pack or just a drink bottle if you don't want to pay for it. You can get these really cheap. The bladder that I'm running in here is like $10. It's nothing. The backpack is a little bit more expensive because it's in OzCam, but there's a ton of kits out there you can buy for under 20 bucks, which are in cam in some cases if you want to do that, and for the militia, you can get them in black and a variety of colors. You want something that carries about 2 liters of water. And you will go through it. You think you won't, but when you're out there and you're running around and you're walking 3.5 Ks, you're going to go through it. To answer a couple, I think we've had a few questions about it. There will be places to refill your water, so don't stress out that you're going to be running all over the place. We will have water available for you to refill at certain points. Safety flag or dead rag. We spoke about that earlier in the video about the dead rags that we've got available for sale, and again, those are up on our website, so you can get a hold of those right now for pre-order for those of you who are coming to EP. If you buy one of those dead rags, or if you have a dead rag, you can use that in placement of a safety flag. We talked about safety flags before, but just to quickly touch off on it again, they're a piece of red, or in this case reflective orange material, and again they're just designed to be used for signaling, to let people know not to be shooting at you. So if we have a ceasefire or a no duff, if everyone's wearing one of these, no one's shooting at anyone, because you don't shoot at people wearing the flag. We'll quickly move into your packs. There's been a bit of discussion about packs, what you should go in, what shouldn't go in. There's so many different ways to do it. I'm not going to list them all off. You should have a central pack, a main pack, where you're going to have all your gear, which you can take out into the AO. You're not going to be doing multiple trips back and forth to your car. There's not going to be like a trailer running you 20 times. I want my camping chair and my swag. It's all got to fit in that bag. It's all got to be brought out, and you've got to be able to carry that weight. So don't fill it up 50 kilos and not be able to lift that. You're going to be walking, and that's not great. Yes, there will be places to put your big packs, so you're not going to be humping the whole AO, the whole game with them, but still bear in mind you've got to carry them. Some people will be carrying things like assault packs, which is sort of a minimized version of that, your bare essentials. And again, that's just a case of intelligent packing. Don't throw everything but the kitchen sink in there, you will regret it. What you will need to keep in your packs as a minimum is a thermal blanket or a foam mat. That's something to chuck under your sleeping bag, which one down, we've got your sleeping bag as well. Make sure you buy yourself a decent sleeping bag or have something that you're at least going to be comfortable in. There's so many out there, I'm not going to go too far into it, but I have it on good authority that probably going to want to set the benchmark about here, being one that's rated to at least -5, because if there's wind chill, it's going to suck. If you have questions about sleeping bags, again, jump on the forums. There's tons of people who are more than happy to share their experiences. Plastic bags, being a Ziploc bag, and maybe it's just a couple of shopping bags as well. Anything that you can keep, small bags basically, where you can put your wet gear into, so it's not going to stuff up the rest of your pack, and your rubbish, anything you're coming out of your ration packs, anything like that. Somewhere to keep it so it's not going to blow away. Cold wet weather gear has been a big hot topic on the forums. I'm not going to go too far into depth with it, but essentially there's been a post that's been put up now that is the go-to on the rules for wet weather gear and cold weather gear and how we're going to be dealing with that. So I will direct you guys just to go to the forums and have a read about how we're going to be sorting that out and how that's going to be done. But the breakdown for those of you who like the visual medium is that, look, at night, if you don't have something that's in the right cam, or if you don't have something that's in the right color, if it's the middle of the night, you're just trying to sleep in it, that's fine. We'd rather you wear that than freeze to death. And the same deal with wet weather gear, guys. If it's pissing down with rain and you don't have something that's quite right, all right, you put it on for a short spell, but you take it off as soon as the weather's there. We understand that there's not always that available budget, but we encourage you very strongly to try and get something that's faction specific. It's really not hard, especially if you're on the coalition. It's not hard to get stuff in multicam or OzCam. They're available everywhere, and they start as cheap as 20 bucks. Jump online, or hell, wear one that's see-through and they can see your cameras through it. Isn't that great? Spare socks is a big one. If your boots get wet, if your socks get wet, do not be walking around in wet feet. You'll find yourself getting tinea and all sorts of bad things. So carry that. Carry spare things like spare shirts, but don't pack your entire wardrobe. And that's pretty much it for the essentials in your packs. Again, I direct you to the CSSO. There's a ton of extra stuff in there that I haven't listed off here, which is stuff that will help you, but it's not essentials. Things like, you know, shovels and gear and bloody gloves, all sorts of stuff. It's not required, but it might make your life easier. And everything in there is going to help you out to have a good time at EP, and that's the main thing that we want to do. Guys, if you have questions about what we've spoken about here, please take into the forums, jump on there, ask questions, you will get answers, we will address them so that you are 100% good to go, squared away for EP this year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the pack list essentials for this year at EP. Thank you.